see as the headwinds then, Greg? You talked about all of the opportunities and you believe that the company finds itself with a very strong balance sheet. And of course, you talked about many of the opportunities that you intend to chase after. But what do you believe will be the big headwinds that you need to deal with today?
Well, first of all, I'm an optimist, so I always look on the opportunities that we have, and I always bring that mindset to how we approach things. I think obviously the economic, global macroeconomic environment is an interesting one, let's put it that way, in terms of, whether it's tariffs or, shifting economic alliances, et cetera. The beauty of Coursera is that we serve the entire world. And so we can't focus on just one market. We have to make sure that we continue to build an offering that works for learners everywhere. And so while there might be things that impact one economy or another economy, we're very much focused on just continuing to improve the experience for learners. And we believe that'll help us navigate any headwinds that we do see.
Greg, you talked about the macroeconomic factors, and they're pretty dynamic and difficult at this point in time, to put it mildly. But in many ways, your business is I wouldn't say anything is tariff-proof, but less vulnerable to tariffs at this point in time, at least.
Well, we obviously aren't shipping physical products around the world, and so that gives us.
But at the enterprise side, people who are impacted and are dealing with having to deal with the tariffs, is that making it harder on the enterprise side with retention rates, etc.?
Well, I think on the enterprise side, you see two sort of countervailing forces playing out. On the one hand, there's economic uncertainty and tariffs, and that can have a dampening effect on enterprise and what they might be willing to spend. On the other hand, there's the existential crisis of adapting your workforce to leverage AI and ensure that you remain competitive. And so I think the enterprises that are really leaning into that and recognizing that now is the moment because they don't want to be left behind as this transition occurs, they're going to continue to invest. And so we see that balance playing out. I can't predict, how the future will go, but I am optimistic that we will see the latter factor outweigh the former factor over time.
I want to go back to the localization question. And while you said that you're now available in 26 different languages in India, but what about creating content that is more relevant and specific to India? How much of that is likely to be part of the India strategy going forward?
Well, actually, I think what we're launching at Coursera Connect this week with Course Builder now, which is our facility, our AI-driven facility that enables both enterprise partners and now our university partners and industry partners to create content leveraging Course Builder, leveraging AI, is actually a fantastic way to create content that is going to be highly relevant. As I mentioned, 1,900 of the 4,000 courses that enterprises have created using Course Builder for their workforces came from India. And so that's a fantastic example of creating content that melds the rich catalog of Coursera, as well as very context-specific and company-specific information to create courses that are relevant for their workforces. Now we'll see that be possible from universities and from our industry partners. And so I think there will be a huge opportunity for academic institutions in India to capitalize on that capability, on Course Builder, to create courses that are going to be highly relevant for students in India.
Greg, I'm curious, the experience that you had at Prime Video, I mean, how do you marry that with what you're attempting to do here at Coursera in an AI world?
Well, I mean, I was fortunate to work at Amazon for a long time, led the launch and creation of Alexa from the ground up, and then, as you mentioned, led Prime Video for the last 3 years that I was at Amazon. Coursera is a content business like Prime Video, but they're very different businesses, obviously. The intent of Prime Video is to entertain. The intent of Coursera is to educate. And this is obviously an incredibly rewarding focus. But one of the things that I bring from my time at Amazon to Coursera is a very deep focus on leveraging product innovation and pace of innovation to deliver better customer experiences. And in the case of Coursera, the fantastic aspect of that is it's not only delivering, potentially a better shopping experience, or a more entertaining way to watch something. it's delivering life-changing skills. And so that's incredibly empowering for me and hopefully for learners around the world as well.
So let me end by asking you, what are the indications that you're getting from the labor market? I mean, we're looking at the jobs numbers coming in from the US. We're tracking that here in India as well. But what are the indications that you're getting from the labor market, from the jobs market, on the skills that will be required in the next few years?
Well, as I mentioned, AI is obviously a critical one, and we see that playing out, with 13 enrollments in Gen AI content. But we're also seeing that just generally reflected, particularly on the consumer side of our business, in the incredible growth in everything related to software, IT, data, business. Those are big trends that we're seeing playing out. I don't think that those are temporal trends either. I believe that those are going to continue and to accelerate. One of the big opportunities that's relevant for India is there's a huge opportunity to transform the workforce. And right now there's a forecast that in 10 years, India is going to contribute 24% of the global workforce. But right now, only 2.2% of India's workforce is formally skilled. And so there's a huge opportunity to address that. 47% of Indian workers are underqualified for their jobs. That's per the International Labor Organization. So giving those workers the skills that they need to have job relevant talents is incredibly important. And that's one of the reasons that Coursera is so focused on delivering a skills focused learning experience.
Greg, let me end by asking you, the last conversation that I had with your predecessor, Jeff, we talked about how Coursera was also playing a part in bridging the gender gap, and bridging the gender gap specifically here from a skills point of view in India. Is that still holding?
It is still holding. And actually, some of the AI features that I mentioned are a fantastic way to level the playing field. So we see that there's a higher percentage of women, for example, that interact with Coursera Coach. That's also true for first-time learners, those without college degrees. And so I think one of the reasons for that is that Coach sort of lowers the stakes. It's very easy to interact with Coach, and you're not doing that in front of a classroom physically, where you might be a little hesitant, perhaps. And so I think that's a fantastic aspect of online education generally, and certainly of the AI features that we've built in Coach. And I believe that will continue to play out.
Well, Greg, we wish you the very best of luck with Coursera Connect. We look forward to seeing you in India and to have this conversation with you in person. But thanks very much for taking time out for us and joining us here on the Global Dialogue tonight.
Thank you so much, Shereen. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Well, that's Greg Hart there taking us through Coursera's strategy for India. But we are going to take a break here and continue our conversations on CNBC TV 18. Stay tuned. We're back in a moment with plenty more.